I read this article in Texas Monthly that just blew my mind. And it was basically a summing up of the experiences that a number of different wedding photographers are having down in Texas during the pandemic. And the, I'll say callous, even though my heart really says evil way that they're treated by the people they're working for. I wanna give you a couple of excerpts from it, but you should definitely go to Texas Monthly and read this because there's a lot more where this came from. But they say that, so one wedding photographer had already spent about an hour or two inside with unmasked wedding party when one of the bridesmaids approached her, and the woman thanked her for still showing up, considering, quote, everything that's going on with the groom, which in theory could mean a lot of things right prior to a wedding, but in this case, it was COVID related. When the photographer asked what she meant by that, the bridesmaid said that the groom had tested positive for the coronavirus the day before. The photographer says she was looking for me to be like, oh, that's crazy, like I was going to agree with her that it was fine. So I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, oh, no, don't freak out. He doesn't have symptoms, he's fine. Which is good, because if we've learned anything through the pandemic, it's that people without symptoms can't spread it. Wait, that's not true. That's not how that works at all. But apparently they thought so. And she recalls one bridesmaid telling her, I'm a teacher, I have 14 students. If I'm willing to risk it, why aren't you? Which is an amazing thing to say. That deserves a therapy session all by itself. Another said eventually everybody was gonna get COVID, so what was the big deal? Which is sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yes, if you act like this, probably most people will get COVID at some point. But anyway, Viviana, we've got more. I cannot believe that this is not like from March. These are the way people are treating photographers at these weddings all throughout the summer and early fall.
I guess everything's bigger in Texas, even ignorance. I don't know. And let me say this, if you're a teacher who has 14 students, for sure, you're a private school teacher, and most likely you're a Christian private school teacher, and you don't even need a degree for that. So I'm just saying that's not a very good excuse. And I'm thinking maybe this is the new trend in COVID times. When you have a wedding, instead of catching the bouquet, you catch COVID.
Hey everybody, here comes the infection. You gather everybody in a group and then you sneeze into the group.
Groom throws the garter, coughs on it, and then lets it rip.
Oh God. Exactly.
Honestly, I don't even know why this photographer was even at this wedding indoors. She really, if she was cautious, she should have not done that.
To survive, I assume.
Yeah, people are doing what they have to do.
It's
really sad.
Well, I want to give you a little bit more from that photographer's experience. She recalled one conversation from that wedding before she left the reception. I have children, she told a bridesmaid. What if my children die? The bridesmaid responded, I understand, but this is her wedding day.
Who cares?
I think, I don't know what the correct response is to that.
There have been lawsuits.
Non-verbal, probably physical.
There have been lawsuits against people who are positive for HIV and AIDS, who have knowingly given it to somebody or exposed somebody to it without disclosing that information. And I wonder if we're gonna see that continuing as the months go on with COVID. If somebody dies because of somebody's negligence and inconsideration, I mean, who knows? It's really callous to say, well, I've never understood that. People who have their, like, that's the most important day of your life. How sad, like that's, I mean, that you'd be willing to let people die?
Yeah, or like, okay, maybe you think that, but then when someone says, what if my kids die? And you're like, yeah, but this is her wedding. How do you say that? But there's a lot of people that are just insane. And so let's fast forward to the only way that this story could have ended. A few days later, she started to feel sick and sure enough tested positive for the coronavirus. She informed the couple, but they didn't care, she says. They didn't offer to compensate her for the test, nor did they apologize for getting her sick. Like they didn't want to pay for the test. They didn't even say, I'm sorry I got you infected with COVID. We live in a world of, like, we think that there's something fundamental that connects all of us, but it has broken down along the way. And I have no idea if like that couple and the party was filled with like Trump fans. I don't know for sure that's the case. I mean, it's Texas, there's a good chance, but just there are people who, there's so much ignorance and misinformation that's been flowing around, and so many reasons for people who just want to pretend that it's not serious. It's excuses being given to them to do that, and this is what it looks like.
I mean, you would imagine that even if you accidentally expose somebody to COVID, that you would feel apologetic. But to knowingly do it, and to be COVID positive and not be wearing a mask, I don't see how this is happening. Now, I've known for many, many years that we're a very individualistic country. That's why we have a hard time passing legislation to be proactive and try to prevent human suffering, because everybody just cares about themselves. And you have a lot of these libertarian ideology of like, well, if we all just take this Ayn Rand ideology, it's really, this is what it's like when you see somebody suffering from your actions, and you just go, well, they have to deal with it. I dealt with it. Yeah. People really don't think it's a serious illness. They really don't.
Yeah, well, and they mentioned in the article, by the way, that if you want, you can go, because people obviously take photos of their weddings and they share them online and they hashtag them. You can go and you can find photos from these weddings, and you can see what percentage of the people at what percentage of the weddings seem to be socially distancing or wearing masks and things like that. This is an awesome experience. Has been relayed by awesome, as in like it really makes you think. It's not good, obviously, of this one photographer, but you can see this is happening at hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of weddings, and not just in Texas. Like California had 50,000 cases reported yesterday. That was the whole country a few months ago. Now it's just California. How do you get to those numbers?
Right.
By weddings and by all sorts of the exact sort of way that you'd think, by lots of people doing that. That's how you get to it. That's why we have the numbers.
Here's the struggle though, John, and I don't know if you have any answers to this, but it's like, how do you enforce mask wearing? How do you enforce stay-at-home orders? Because they were real quick to roll out the National Guard when there were protests in the street and somebody broke a window, but yet we can't enforce these mandatory stay-at-home orders or mask orders. And I don't want a Gestapo going on, and of course they're gonna be unfairly targeting people of color and poor people. But how do you enforce this? Do you just shut down the wedding? Are there people to go in there and just be like, no, everybody out?
I don't have answers to pretty much anything, let alone this. Our best bet was to provide some sort of social incentives, is for people to encourage others to do it, for it to be seen as a patriotic thing or a responsible thing or whatever. And many countries were apparently able to do that, and we weren't one of them because we are flawed in ways. I guess our people are flawed in ways that they aren't. Our government and our media are flawed in ways that theirs aren't. And so that was the best way. I don't want people kicking down doors and stuff like that. But what I also don't want is for people to be putting pressure on other people to not wear masks. And that's what we've gotten. We've gotten more pressure in the opposite direction than encouraging people to be responsible.
John, are you going to take the vaccine?
Yeah, definitely.
I
want to go back to the gym. I want to go back to normal. Like I want to go to the movie theater eventually. Like finally, if that's the only way I'm going to get to see Black Widow, because Marvel apparently cares more about getting that money than people not getting sick. If that's the only way I can see Black Widow and James Bond, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the vaccine.
Well, I have qualified to be one of the early recipients of the vaccine because prior to COVID, I was a volunteer at the hospital, Cedars-Sinai. And so they sent me an email a couple of days ago saying that I can get on the list. I'm a little bit nervous because the Pfizer vaccine seems like a one that they're not quite sure of all of the side effects yet, but we'll see. And I honestly, I want to get back to volunteering at the hospital. They need it more than ever.
Yeah, and that would certainly help, especially with what's coming over the next few weeks. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.